Okay, y'all, so I decided to record another video because I may not get a chance to record one tomorrow. And this is about how I actually, or when I actually lost my virginity. Because a lot of my friends think that I lost it with my son's father, which is not true. It was supposed to happen like that, but some kind of way it didn't. And that's a later story. I'll go into that later. But it was with a guy named Paul. And so I seen Paul come down the street, and my friend, we'll call her P, because I haven't got permission to use her name. But she had these wood logs that sat around her house, and she stayed out in Glen Park, which is like, it's Gary, but it was called Glen Park. And so he came walking down the street, and he was friends to a guy that we already knew. Now, mind you, Paul was like 20, maybe 23, 24. He was a man. He wasn't a teen like me. So some kind of way, I let this man talk me into my friends. First of all, they tried to talk me out of it. They're like, "Girl, don't go. You better not go." Yada 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 yada. So I didn't go that day. But what was so funny was my sister, my mom bought my sister a pair of Voits. I don't know if y'all remember what Voits were, the shoes. They were very off brand. I think Payless sold them. So one day my sister decided that she was not going to wear these damn Voits. So she took a pair of old Nikes and she cut the Nike symbols and all that stuff off that shoe and glued it onto the Voits. So Paul, when he came down the final day that I decided that it was going to be it, he came over there and he said, "Damn," he said, "them some hard ass Nikes." And my sister was like, "Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you." And he said, "Let me see the bottom." And she forgot that she didn't put the Nike symbol on the bottom. So by the time he looked at the bottom, he said, "Why the bottom say void?" And I was like, "Oh my God." And that was so embarrassing. So if I was embarrassed, I know she was embarrassed. But anyway, back to the story. That was just so funny to me. So after he got through talking about her shoes or whatever, then that's when he was like, "Well, let's go to my friend's house, yada yada yada." This is like the third day he asked me. So finally we went down there. So we went down there, and I'm a teenager, so I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe we gonna watch TV or something. I'm not thinking that it was going to happen. So he was like, "Oh, just let me put the head in, let me do this, let me do that." And I was like, "No, mm-mm." And I kept saying no, no, no. But I don't know what made me give in. After hours of arguing, talking, everything, I finally gave in. And the first thing that popped in my head was that that Betty Wright song, "Make Me a Woman." Oh my God. But anyway, so I finally gave in. And oh my God, was that so painful. That was the worst pain I ever felt in my life. So when we came walking back to P's house, she said, "Oh my God." She said, "I think you did something." I said, "No, no, I didn't. I didn't." And they were like, "Yeah, you did, because you walking funny." I'm like, "No, no, no, I hurt my leg," or something I said like that. But I was like, I'm thinking in my head, like, "Oh my God, I cannot believe I just gave it up to this grown man." And see, my mom used to drop us off in Glen Park. Oh my God, we got into so much shit. She used to drop us off in Glen Park because she drove this taxi cab. So she would drop us off because that's where all our friends stayed. I wanted to go to Lew Wallace High School, which was in Glen Park. That's another story. But anyway, oh my God, it was just like in my mind was racing like, "Oh my God, am I pregnant? Did I get STD? Did this, did this, and all, it's just racing through my mind. And I was just so scared. Y'all just don't know how scared I was, but I was so scared. And me and Paul kicked it maybe for another, well, let me go back. we had sex one more time after that, and that's it. And I think because I was so scared is what kind of turned him off, because I think he looked at it like, okay, you did it like this many times, but now you scared or whatever. And I was horrified every time, because this is a grown man. Was it worth it? Yeah, because it was really good. Once I got past the pain part, oh my God. But it just was so scary to me, being so young and not knowing the consequences. And this is a grown man. And what really broke it off is one day this woman he was dating came rolling through there and said, do y'all know the chick who Paul's supposed to be messing with? And we just looked like, oh my God. And I'm just looking like, this is a grown woman. And I knew then and there, even being a teenager, I knew, I'm not finna deal with this. So that was the end of me and Paul. I have not seen Paul since. I couldn't tell you where Paul at, if Paul married, nothing about Paul, because that chick scared me away from Paul. That was it. But anyway, that was my actual first time. That was when I actually lost my virginity. So the moral to this story is that it's best to wait. Doesn't matter how old you are. The best thing is to wait, because it's so scary, and you want your first time to be with somebody special. I mean, because you look at me, he wasn't somebody special, and I couldn't even tell you where he is right now. So the best thing to do is probably to wait on your forever, if that's a thing. It's very few virgins out here in the world, including teenagers. But I encourage you all to let your teenagers know it's not worth it. My teenage daughter, which is another story, got pregnant at 16. I didn't want it to happen like that. Didn't intend for it to happen like that. It did. So it's a cycle. And at some point, I want the cycle to be broken, hopefully with my grandsons. And then it's to talk about my teenage years and back when I was a child, and to know that I'm a mother of grown-ups and a grandmother is like it's so relieving to be able to express everything. So I like telling these stories about my life. Are some of them going to be embarrassing? Very much so. I'm probably going to be like this, coming to model calls and stuff, because, or out in the street with people that know me. But this is something that I just want people to use this as a learning experience. This is something that may not have went on in your life yet, but you can kind of listen to my story and maybe better be able to handle what goes on. Or it may have already happened to you, and it's able to help. It makes you able to be able to say, okay, well, maybe if she can talk about it, I can talk about it. So today I had got like maybe 6 inboxes of people saying, wow, I couldn't tell my story like that. I couldn't talk about what people have done to me like that. I couldn't talk about my life like that. Yeah, you can. It's just you have to be ready, and you have to be to that point. Because if you're just not to that point, yeah, you're just not to that point. But my goal, and hopefully that these stories will help you get to that point, to at least, if you didn't talk to anybody else, to talk to a counselor or a family member. So that's it for me. And remember, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Thank you.